Welcome, listeners, to this week's episode of Unexplained Legends. I'm Roger O'Sullivan, and with me, as always, is
Denis. Len.
and together we are the Unexplained Legends. Do you want to interrogate that, Denis? What that noise is? Yes,
It's more of a It's very hard to repeat it.
Okay.
But yeah, no, just actually, right? You're not going to believe this. Guess what I got? I know it's a fairly open-ended question, but
that's very open.
I'm going to give you five.
Disease?
A disease? No, unfortunately, no.
I got malaria.
I won't be able to give you that kind of happiness.
Did you get a PS5?
No, I didn't look at the price of a PS5, and I then thought to myself, I won't be getting a PS5.
Okay,
no.
Yeah. Okay. Did you get an animal?
No, I would have told everyone if I got an animal, but
okay.
no.
Did you get...
These are all great guesses, by the way. Fantastic guesses.
Are they anywhere near the area?
Next to me?
No. Are they... Are my guesses close?
I mean, they're in the area of things I would like.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to give you a clue, right?
Did you get a refund from a parking fine? Or did you get another parking fine?
No, I didn't. But I did return some clothes. Oh, actually... This is fairly infuriating, right? I'll get back to what I got in a second. I'll leave it as a little teaser for them. So for any people out there, right, who really enjoy paying with Apple Pay, right, as I do, right, on my phone, go away.
You're
tap
mad
it.
into it.
The big man, right? I went and I got some clothes.
Hang on. Sorry. Can you check what mic you're using?
Oh no, it's not wrong, is it? For fuck's sake.
We can still just continue from where it was.
I can't change it. One sec, I'll have to pop back in.
Alright, cool.
Bollocks, at least you'd notice it.
Yeah. Will the recording stay if I stay in?
I don't know.
Let's see. Oh, it does. It does, listeners. Jesus Christ, I'm fucking haggard. I'm exhausted at the moment. Work is kicking my ass, guys. Here he is, he's back.
Did that actually work?
Yeah, it did, yeah. That's much better.
Alright, so I went and I bought some clothes. Used Apple Pay, thought I was the big man. Right, Going in, tapping, even though everyone's had it for about 10 years. And
I still won't use it.
Why not?
Won't use it. I don't
is
trust
it. Is it just because I get enjoyment out of it? Is that
no,
why
I
you
don't
won't
trust
use
it. I don't trust it. My phone has nothing to do with my finances.
Do you have a banking app on your phone?
That's none of your business.
Do you have your IBAN number as your wallpaper?
That's none of your business.
But yeah, I went and I got some clothes, right? And the balloon jeans just didn't suit me. Don't know if you've ever got them before.
Are you joking me?
What are you talking about? Are you joking me? Yeah, just because they're not your thing. They're like 21-year-olds things.
They're my thing.
So I went to the balloon jeans didn't suit me, right? I just looked like one of those flailing balloon things outside of a or outside of a car salesman's place. But I went and I returned them, and I went up and they said, "You have your card, right?" Oh. And I gave them my card.
Yeah.
And they said, "No, it's not the same card in the receipt."
Ooh.
And I was like, "Oh, it is the same card." And they're like, "No." And I was like, "No, this is it. Like, I don't have." And then they were like, "What number is it? Or this is the number it ends in." I nearly said it. Not that it would have mattered too much, but I was like, "No, it doesn't. I don't have that card. That card doesn't exist."
Yeah.
Right. And so then I was thinking, "Oh, maybe it's you will love this, right? You will get so much life force from this for the episode."
I bet.
This never happens to me. This never happens to me, right? But I'll just say that because I had a gig, I let my phone, I changed the settings on my phone so it would keep the screen on, and you'd have to lock it to turn it off. So it would be on like full brightness the whole time.
Yeah.
So I said, "Oh, it's probably my Apple Pay. That's probably what it is." Yeah. And I took out my phone and it was dead.
Oh, yes.
So I had to come back, and that's the only reason I went there. I didn't have any other reason to go there, only to return those balloon jeans that you recommended getting, which were disgraceful, by the way. Like you must not have this thing like called shame, right? Where you put on these jeans and you're just like, I can't go out in these.
Oh,
there's no way I can go out in these.
But I look great in them.
But it has an internal fan.
What do you mean? Yeah, so
It looks
Pop
ridiculous.
open.
But anyway, back. Oh, go on.
I was going to say that I I consider it so unlikely to ever have my phone out of battery that if my phone is out of battery, I don't even consider that time as existing.
Do you have any idea how you come across? Like you must know. You
What
must know. Like,
what do you mean? How
like
I
as
come
in, do you
across?
do it deliberately? Like, are you saying I'm going to send an ICBM to piss him off that
No,
badly? Like,
no,
right now.
no, I'm not doing that at all. I'm
You're
just saying how
basically
shocking
saying
it was.
you're shocking, yeah, but in the
Yeah.
Irish sense. Like you're basically saying I could never be that stupid.
No.
That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying I could never be that disorganized.
Okay, perfect, great. Stupid's cousin, disorganized.
So
Wait,
tell
you
me
got
about
two-
what
you got- You got
What?
two more guesses. I'm
Okay.
gonna give you a clue. It's quite fidgety.
Oh, fidget toy.
No, I knew you'd say that. Fuck's sake. It's quite bricky. A brick?
Legos. You got some Legos.
No, I didn't.
Well,
I don't know if you've ever had this before. I'm sure you're probably going to pull up like an even bigger bag of this stuff just to the screen in a second. But I got kinetic sand.
oh no, I have never had that.
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. It's very, very strange, and it has this weird sensation of it nearly being alive because it kind of moves, and
Really?
and it seems to be very susceptible to gravity. Right now, anyone who hasn't played with kinetic sand,
Can I be honest with you? A lot of things in life are susceptible to
this
gravity.
this more so. This more so.
Okay.
So this is very, very strange stuff, but it's unbelievably satisfying, and none of it doesn't go on your hands.
Oh, but that's the most important thing so
Yeah.
far. That you've
When it
sold
comes
me
to, I mean, when I purchase sand, I don't want it to come in my hands, but
on. That's the last thing you want.
so
No sand, no.
I feel like the intros on these episodes have got worse and worse.
Oh, they have.
Have you ever played with kinetic sand first?
No, I
Come on.
never. Let me think. I've maybe. You know what? I do recall. You know, Secret Santa. Do you know that thing?
Yeah, I don't know him personally, but yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I'm on about, don't you?
Yeah, I know it, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that happening in an office that I worked in before, and like everyone getting their shit presents. You know, what a fucking waste of €10, and then one person getting a little thing of kinetic sand. And
Brilliant.
The whole office nearly being like, "Give us a go on that." You know,
Hey, are you done with that? You wouldn't like that. I'd have a go at that.
Yeah. So I can't remember. It seems unlikely that I would have like queued up. I would have just gone, fuck that. So I think maybe I've seen it played with, but I've not touched myself.
You've seen it played with. That's so
Yeah.
good. You're like, I'm not familiar, but I have seen someone play with it
Yeah,
before.
yeah. I'm not a
you,
pro.
You sound like you're 5. What are we doing this week?
Oh, you're what? You know, you can't. You have to tell me more about this kinetic sand.
That's it. It's just kinetic sand.
What's
That's
it
all.
like? What does it feel like?
It's amazing. Like you sometimes, right? What I do is I you can buy. It's like the size of 3 tennis balls, right? That's the amount that I have. Right? Does that make
That's
sense?
a lot.
It's loads. And what I do is I like smush that into a ball, right? Form it into a sphere, and then I just now people can't see me doing this, but basically it's like you're holding up a ball, and I just hold my hand steady, and it just starts slowly cracking and disintegrating, and just falling and falling and falling and falling, and I just watch it fall.
Does this
It's-
just ruin your room?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't stick to anything. You would love this stuff. Absolutely love it.
Kinetic sand. I just want to make sure. Yeah, this is the stuff. Do you have color? Or
No, I just have blue.
that is the color. Blue. Yes, classic sand. Classic sand color blue.
All right, come on. Let's get this train going.
Okay. Well, Dennis, I actually had a perfect segue I was going to lead into, but you fucked it all up.
You can still do it.
I was going to say this kinetic sand stuff, Dennis. It sounds almost like alien technology.
It could be. Who knows where it came from? I never saw it before.
We never had this before the 2000s.
We just had normal sand.
Normal sand.
Before we get into it, actually,
was cement.
normal sand out the back, right?
Yeah.
That people would build sand pits, and then all the local animals would come and shit in it, and then
Yeah.
they'd get their children to play in it, and some children would also shit in it. It was just basically they made a shit pit out in their garden.
There's nothing like a good old shit pit. One of those big plastic turtles. It's the old shit pit. Cover the top. Once that top goes, you see the desert going day by day by day. Also, definitely, anyone who had those sand pits where I was growing up, it was just builder's sand. It was not.
Oh yeah,
proper sand. But it does sound like alien technology, Dennis. And as a result, it ties in perfectly to the very special episode we're doing this week. We're doing a Reddit expose.
Oh my god.
We're doing a special episode, something a bit different. It won't be the usual running through a mystery that that we usually do on this podcast. Instead, what this is a post that came across my desk via you, actually.
What?
Yeah, you sent me this.
When did I do this?
You sent me this on a Friday morning, and I thought, God damn it, I've work to do. Why'd you send me this? And I obviously read the whole thing. I went into the toilet, read the whole thing.
And just to let the listeners know, I don't read these things. I just read the headline, think that's interesting, and then I send it to you. And then you send it off to like 4 different people then as well.
Yeah.
And then it comes back to you.
I sent it to a friend of mine who is a microbiologist, and unfortunately he never got back to me. Really pissed me off. And he's listening to this right now, a fucker.
Could have been part of this episode.
Yeah, but listen, he's ruined it for himself now. We're going to be talking through a post that was posted on r/alien 7 days ago, and it was posted by, get this, deleted.
I've seen him post a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and what we're going to do, Dennis, so we actually referenced it a few episodes ago, the idea of alien autopsy and the government. I guess you nearly call this kind of a companion episode to the David Grush episode, where what we're going to do is this person claims that they worked for the US government as a military contractor, and that they have interacted with let's just say unearthly beings. And
very cool.
I thought what would be cool, a little break from form for this episode, is for us to read through this together and kind of pick it apart and see which parts do we feel are realistic, or which parts do we think maybe are not so realistic, and ultimately come to the conclusion as whether or not this is real.
All right, nice. Okay, I'm very into this. I think we're moving into a golden age of aliens, though, which is kind of cool.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I might go off them if they become too mainstream.
Yeah, I can see that happening. You probably like go into
tarot.
Like, stuff living on tarot. Of course.
I'd go really into tarot cards.
Aliens are the gateway to tarot cards, as always.
Yeah. On the back of that, I guess, Dennis, let's crack on with the lamestream narrative. From the late 2000s to the mid 2010s, I worked as a molecular biologist for a national security contractor in a program to study exobiospheric organisms, or EBOs as they're also known. I will share with you a lot of information on this subject. Feel free to ask questions or ask for clarifications. So that's the start.
Yeah, and just to remember, listeners at home, you can't actually ask questions or clarifications. This has been recorded, it's not live, and you can't interact with us.
Yeah. So this is so we're going to read through this now, and stop me at any point, Dennis, if you feel like there's a lot to get through. I don't think we can read through the whole of it.
Do you think it'll be a 2-parter?
No.
Fair enough.
I think it will be. I'm just going through this now. I think No, do you know what? If we're careful about it, we should be able to get through it all.
Okay. All right. It comes with warnings.
Yeah. So if we do have to redact or leave anything out, we're not doing it for security reasons. We're just doing it because we're in a rush. So
That sounds quite suspicious.
well, it's supposed to sound the opposite of suspicious. So, from the late 2000s to the mid 2010s, I worked as a molecular biologist for a national security contractor in a program to study exobiospheric organisms. The aim of the program was to elucidate the genome and proteome basis of these organisms. Although the study of OBCs has been going on for decades in other programs, what's OBCs?
All right, it's just going back there a little bit because there's a lot of big words in there.
Yeah.
Like elucidate.
Yes.
So I'm playing Jurassic Park at the moment, the game. So thank God, right? So I can shed some light on this stuff. But they're trying to research the genomes of these aliens, right?
Yeah.
I've been researching a genome of, I think it's Ceratosaurus at the moment, right? To bring into my park.
Who's she?
So are they, from your understanding, are they just trying to like get the like DNA makeup of these aliens or something?
That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like they're trying to figure out what this is. What are these beings? Don't know what OBCs are though. You never mentioned that.
OBCs, and I'll put genome after it. There's probably going to be a little bit of research in this. OBCs, ontology of biological and clinical statistics.
All right, that sounds right, I guess.
Doesn't help us out though, does it?
No, do you know what? Not important. Skip it.
Oh, wait.
Go on.
So this is some sort of journal, right? Journal, but it does bring up OBCs, and they definitely are in here. Oh, okay. Well, ON bipolar cells, right? That's what they seem to be. Again, don't have
listen.
fucking clue what
We'll
that
skip
is.
that. We'll skip that for now. It's not important, right? Although the study of OBCs has been going on for decades in other programs, the new high-throughput DNA sequencing technologies of the late 90s unblocked stagnant research in this area. Since then, several breakthroughs have led to significant advances in our understanding of the genome and proteome of these beings. What we've learned so far has enabled us to outline some disconcerting perspectives about our place in the universe. Briefly, we'll discover that the EBO genome is a chimera of genomes from our biosphere and from an unknown one. They are artificial, ephemeral, and disposable organisms created for a purpose that still partially eludes us. I'll be substantiating my statements after a brief introduction.
Wow, man, that is some lit review he's got going on there, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite hard to kind of digest.
I don't think I've ever said that I'm going to substantiate my statements after a brief introduction.
No, you nearly burst into flames. I did get a quite a simple thing on bipolar cells, though.
Okay.
So ON bipolar cells, right? Anyone out there who knows about this, maybe I'm reading the wrong thing. I don't know. But they're on and off bipolar cells, right? It does make sense once you read it. So a bipolar neuron or bipolar cell is a type of neuron that has two extensions. Don't care about that. But many bipolar cells are specialized sensory neurons for the transmission of sense. As such, they're part of the sensory pathways for smell, sight, taste, hearing, touch, balance. So give you an idea of what they are rather than just a phrase. Can we just get through what he's trying to say there? Like if we can just summarize it, because it is quite difficult to...
Okay, I think for the main takeaways from that are that they're half Earth-like,
Okay.
and half like another planet.
And that's where
we're
the
not familiar with.
the chimera thing came in.
Yeah. They are artificial. So they've been, I think, artificially made, I guess. They're ephemeral. So that they're not meant to be long-lived. And they're disposable organisms. which
Cool.
have been
So, like-
created for a purpose that we don't fully know.
Like a razor.
Yes.
So
It comes to you from Harry's, right?
that's lad still around. So these, it doesn't say it yet, but just when they're half Earth-like and half where, or just from somewhere else.
Somewhere else.
Somewhere else.
Jesus Christ! If we knew where else, like we're halfway there.
Sorry.
What
This,
the fuck are you?
is there an address?
Half Earth, half Mars. Okay, it's closed, guys.
All right, back it up. So what I meant was like they're saying they're artificial. So like, are they created on Earth?
I don't know. I don't think we know that yet. I'm going to be
Okay.
like watching a movie with my mother now. I actually don't. listen. I'm watching this too.
Go on then.
So, the reason for disclosing these secrets is quite simple. I believe that every human being has the right to know the truth. So do I. And that the progress humanity needs to divest itself of certain institutions and organizations that will probably not survive these revelations in the long term. I'm aware that I'll have very little impact in this regard, but I still believe that small leaks are necessary to break the dam of misinformation on this subject. When the governments will eventually reveal these secrets, there will undoubtedly be a societal upheaval. But in my opinion, the longer we wait, the worse it will be. I choose to divulge what I know anonymously out of selfishness for the well-being of myself and my family. I'm aware that this diminishes the reach and credibility of my message, but it's the furthest I am willing to go. I choose this form because it offers a good compromise between anonymity and popularity. In order to protect my anonymity, I will be purposefully vague or even contradictory about any information that could identify me. I'll even introduce red herrings in this respect. I want to make it clear that any information related to the subject of the research will not be treated in this way. Wow.
Okay, right. So he wants to hide himself in case he's hunted down
Yeah.
and killed, or just loses his job. So he's saying, I think, that he's revealing this information now. He knows it won't have any impact, but he does want to get the truth out there. But he is saying, eventually, anyway, the world governments will just reveal that this is going on.
Yeah, I think he's kind of saying that that just has to happen long term. You know, if
Okay.
these things exist. But it doesn't sound like they're going to be too delighted about it, you know?
Just quick question, right? And I know it's a
Yeah.
joke, like, but quick question, but with a quick answer if you can. What do you think will happen if they do reveal that there's aliens? Like when it says a societal upheaval, like what does that mean? Does that just mean that, like, hardly it means that all the like let's say geopolitical stuff will just disappear, you know, because.
I actually don't think that there'll be a huge societal upheaval.
What do you think will happen?
I think it'll just be, you know, back to work on Monday.
Oh, I have no doubt. The corporations will get us back to work. But
Yeah.
I mean, what happens? Doesn't someone have to take the lead as well, in a way?
What do you mean?
Can't all meet the alien. You know what I mean?
It's the kinetic sand all over again. You done with that? I don't know. I don't know. I think. Do you know the movie District 9?
Yeah, love that
I
movie.
think that they do a great example of. Okay, I didn't need your life story, right? They.
You know what? Right, go on to the next section there. Go on to the next fucking section.
No.
No.
I think they were great. They did a great job of capturing the idea of like, oh, really, you know, it really engulfs your existence for a while, but once it becomes, you know, just part of day-to-day life,
It just
Like-
becomes admin.
yeah, I think so. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what I reckon will happen. This next paragraph, I'm just going to skip.
Okay.
Because all he's saying is he's saying that he has a background in this, he has a PhD in microbiology, and that he is compromising between giving the like incredibly specific details versus a kind of a vulgarization that we'll understand a bit more.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's all that's mentioned here. But I will start with this next bit where he talks about his actual interview process. I think this is very interesting. I did a
With
series-
aliens.
No. Just
Okay.
to get the job. I did a series of 3 increasingly suspicious interviews, each in a different location, where my scientific background and knowledge became less and less relevant. The first was with 2 of the senior scientists. The second and third with people I've never seen again and who were obviously not interested in science. Sometime after the interview, I was asked to go to a fourth location where what seemed like a corporate lawyer presented me with an NDA. He made sure not only to explain every detail, but also that I understood the consequences of not respecting it. The first employment weeks were by far the most memorable. Although I spent most of the time in a depressing archive room, it consists almost exclusively of reading about the subject of study and to get us up to speed. There is no secret Wikipedia or even a reference book to guide us. There are only dry reports, memos, presentations and procedures and SOPs. These documents are almost exclusively about the biology of EBOs, but there are also a few that deal with other subjects, such as their food, their religion, or culture. There were no documents on their technology.
Wait, but what job was he going for? Like alien man, like.
Yeah, that's what was in position.
Well, but seriously, what job was he going to? Like, this wasn't a shock to him to be, like talking or to be researching all these aliens like in his first training week or whatever.
Well, you're just happy for a job out of college.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. They're not going to advertise it as like we need an alien man.
4 years. It must have 4 years experience working with aliens. Everyone knows in their CV. Everyone blows. Everyone expands that a little bit. I don't know. I think this might just be, government job, like government science military job.
Okay, but he doesn't sound too shocked to be reading it, or maybe that's just my interpretation. I don't know.
Well, I don't think so, because I think he said that he did increasingly suspicious interviews. So it sounds like it sounds like it's a case of like luring you into a bath.
Yeah.
Like it starts.
What happens then?
Like that it started with the more banal stuff, and it slowly like led its way into the crazy.
Okay.
So, as mentioned above, there's 2 big paragraphs here that I'm going to flake through because then we'll get to the juicy stuff. So, as mentioned above, the aim of the project is to gain a better understanding of the EBO genome and proteome. To achieve this, a team of around 20 scientists, 4 senior scientists and a director, was involved. The scientists, like myself, had as their main responsibility to carry out the technical work, as each scientist had to have a PhD level knowledge. We were all somewhat overqualified for what is ultimately a technician's job. The senior scientists, who make full use of their diplomas, had the task of designing the essays and had a supervisory responsibility. They are also in charge of training new employees and sometimes even came in to do technical work. The director, of course, was the person in charge who dictated priorities to the senior scientists. He was rarely on site, and the few times he was, it was to attend a meeting. Other than the scientific staff, there were security guards working for one subcontractor or another. There were no support staff, janitors, etc. Blah, 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 blah. The laboratory itself was located in Fort Detrick, Maryland, in a building used for legitimate biomedical research. The clandestine operations are carried out in a restricted part of the basement, out of sight from regular workers. Contrary to what one might imagine, the biosafety level is not maximal for the type of research. Indeed, the lab containing EBO samples or derived cell cultures in BSL-3, while the lab where essays are conducted are only BSL-2. Don't have a fucking clue what they mean. I assume they're standards. Like safety standards.
I'm just looking up Fort Detrick here, and it is like right bang in the middle of Frederick, Maryland. Like this isn't out in like the middle of nowhere. This looks like it's in the middle of a city.
Denis, hidden in plain sight.
Yeah,
it's the perfect cover. So it says here, the EBO carcasses are preserved in horizontal freezers at a temperature of negative 80 degrees nominal. To maximize the preservation of these carcasses, they are preserved in vacuum bags, and the air in the room is controlled to minimize humidity. There are only 4 bodies, and none of them are complete.
Are you telling me that Hoover bags are alien tech related?
Yeah, they are. Wow. Do you know what? I I was thinking of doing that, and I thought, no, Dennis would get so pissed off. He'd say that was so stupid.
Well, I did it, and you got to do it. So
So it's obvious that these creatures have died as a result of major trauma. Very sad for them. I've never witnessed. That was my editorializing. I've never witnessed a motorcycle accident fatality, but it probably looks similar to this. So he's suggesting they were riding motorcycles.
and also, he's never witnessed one, and he says it's probably like this. They're fucking aliens.
Yeah, not the first thing that would come to my mind. If I'm saying stuff I haven't witnessed, I'd probably say UFO crash. So, it's acknowledged that there are more EBO carcasses at other locations. The Cell Culture Laboratory, as its name suggests, is where cell lines derived from EBOs are grown and related activities are performed. I'll talk in more detail about these specific cell lines later on. Please don't. The BSL-2 part is mainly used for assays, immunohistochemistry, genetic engineering, immunocytochemistry, storage, etc. There's also a cell culture lab, but this is for more traditional cell lines. Other than the labs, there are all the amenities you could find in an office. Note, the internet access is limited to senior staff and up. There is, however, an intranet of bioinformatics.
He's really going into detail, isn't he? And Derek has the highest score on Minesweeper.
Well, you have to. I think with stuff like this, you kind of have to go into that kind of granular detail.
He's definitely going there.
What are your thoughts so far?
I'm going to sum up where we are at the moment, right? Because it is a lot of information to take in.
Yeah.
So we have these EBOs, which are half Earth-like, artificially created, disposable, and made for some sort of job that have all suffered some sort of trauma, and they are now inside in a freezer inside in Fort Detrick in Frederick, Maryland. And this guy's just started his job. They threw him straight in there, which I find really strange. Like, I think great. I think great you go through the interview process, but like you kind of feel them out a little bit. Like you go into the staff room and you say like, did you ever watch the X-Files? And just see what their reaction is a little bit. You don't want, or like give them like, I don't know, give them like $500. Say you found $500 and just say, do you want it? Just do something before you put them into the archives. Like basically saying, oh, here, there's aliens, by the way.
I don't know. I kind of think I'd kind of be of the mindset of, just you kind of have to throw them in at the deep end. Like, what are you going to start them on?
But mustn't there be some sort of like contingency as well for one of these guys just losing his mind? Like, as in, because it's going to completely and utterly destroy everything that he's ever thought about. Like even if you believed in aliens, right? If it was confirmed to you, that would be mad. Like that would totally change your trajectory in life.
Well, I'm going to tell you, right, that this whole next section, titled genetics, I'm skipping that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Because I'll be honest with you, it's very detailed. If you thought the rest was detailed, I'm telling you, this stuff. We'll have a link to this as well, hopefully. But this stuff is way over my head, and way over your head, and actually even more over your head.
There you go. Great, yeah. You couldn't just let the subtle joke happen. You had to also just tell the listeners just in case.
I wanted to bring them all along. No, but this next thing I think will be much more exciting to us is something titled gross anatomy.
All right, okay. Let's gross and net anatomy. The just to go back one thing though, because we didn't summarize it, is that they're researching the cells, or they're trying to grow the cells from these corpses and shit that they have, yeah. And they're doing different things with different cells, and some of them are to do with like the immune system. Some of them are to do with the relationship between the brain and the immune system or something. That's what it sounds like. But they're doing all of these different kind of tests on these cells. Is that what it is?
I think so. Yes, that's kind of what I gathered from it as well.
Okay.
But now we'll move on to the meat and potatoes of this, the sort of stuff that the
and now on to liars.
Yeah, the average or the typical UFO enjoyer can really get their teeth stuck into this next bit. Gross anatomy. They are morphologically very similar to grey aliens that are part of modern folklore. Their height is about 150 centimeters. They have 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. Still, there are some notable differences. Well, so far they're sounding bang on.
For anyone else out there, these aliens are 4'9".
Really?
Yeah.
But they say they're much taller.
Yeah, they say they're 5 foot. Let me just give you an idea.
Me?
So I'm just trying to give you. There's literally nobody here that we know. I'm looking up actors that are 4'8", and there isn't a single person that I know here.
Do you know who? It might be like Kristen Chenoweth. I assume female actor would be. What's
not
her,
popping
her
up.
Name?
My God, there's like nobody.
She's exactly 4'11".
I'd say we'll leave it at that. Go on to the next section there.
How in God's name? That's remarkable. Anyway,
it's remarkable.
Anyway. So their skin, Dennis. Their grey skin. They've grey skin that is the grey skin that is often described in folklore is in fact a biosynthetic film, which likely serves to protect the EBOs from a hostile environment. It doesn't provide effective protection against temperature changes, but it does, however, offer adequate protection against the passage of liquids. It's possible that this film confirms other advantages, but my knowledge on the subject is limited. Under the grey film, the epidermis is rather white, and the texture is very regular, without any hair. We do not see any defect other than the folds near the joints. It's described as greasy in one report, but that's not something I've observed. The same reports state that a strong lingering smell of burnt hair or ammonia is present when the film is removed.
We've come across ammonia smelling before.
We have in Brazil in the Virginia incident. There are a lot of pores on the skin, crossing from the epidermis to a gland in the hippodermis or hypodermis. These glands and pores are the terminal part of the excretory pseudoreferous system, which could explain the previously mentioned smell. So I think they're shitting and pissing out at their skin.
Okay, right, nice.
That's what I get from that. Yeah,
that's really cool though. I've read a lot of terrible sci-fi books, and I don't think I've ever come across that theory or that kind of idea where it's like a space wetsuit they're wearing.
Yeah, that's it.
And then underneath they do seem quite human like then if they just have like normal skin. Like as in your man's not surprised to see their skin. He's describing it as like not having hair in it. So I don't think he sees anything too remarkable about the skin. But other than I think it seems that they like excrete all over their skin, like they sweat out everything through their skin.
Yeah, they piss out everywhere.
And does that come out through the grey suit then, since liquids coming in are stopped?
That's an interesting point. It must, surely.
It must do, but it's probably like a valve or something.
Yeah.
You know, like as in it can come in but it can't go out.
Must do. So we'll flake on here. Head. The head contains 2 large, oversized eyes, 2 nostrils without protuberances, a narrow mouth without lips. Blah blah blah. There was.
We've also come across that as well with aliens with no lips.
Yeah. There is a mandible, but the musculature is vestigial. Okay, so I guess they just have vestigial things for, I guess, in their mouth. That's where the mandible would be, isn't it? So the musculature is vestigial. There is no tooth or tongue in the oral cavity. The nasal cavity where the nostrils meet is compact and does not rise cranially but extends axially. There appears to be no equivalent to the olfactory bulb in the nasal cavity, so they can't smell, I guess. The mouth leads directly to the esophagus and the nasal cavity to the trachea.
All right, give me like a summary on this. What does this alien look like, and how is he breathing and eating?
So he's breathing. He has like a normal respiratory system, it sounds like, but I think it goes on to say he doesn't have it doesn't lead to a stomach.
But how does he breathe if he's breathing in the Earth's atmosphere and he can't bring in liquid through it?
What do you mean?
Like, as in, he's just breathing in just entire. Like, how does he eat and stuff if there's no liquid coming in? Like, if he's like, this air is coming in through the suit.
So I think later on he discusses that when we get to biology, he discusses the fact that it seems like they subsist on a broth.
A broth from where?
Or like I guess they're given it. I don't.
Oh, but where? Like, did they eat it?
Oh, they have it through their mouth.
Oh, okay, all right.
So they don't have a. They don't. I think it goes on later to explain, but I think that they don't have have like a normal digestive system, but they can take on liquids. So they're not able to like eat a hot dog, let's say.
Okay.
don't know why.
All right. Let me make a note. Can't eat hot dogs.
Hot dogs. Yeah.
Do not feed hot dogs. Okay.
So we're gonna flake through the eyes and the ears now.
Yeah. A lot of this, I'm just conscious that is like a lot of. It sounds like an autopsy, so I think it is quite hard to digest. Yeah. So yeah, if we can give the listeners breaks.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So the eyes, right, like the skin, the eyes are covered in semi-transparent biosynthetic film that offers the same environmental protection while providing protection against certain wavelengths and light intensity. When the film is removed, a more traditional eye is revealed. It's about 3 times larger than a human eye, and there are no eyelids. The size of their eyes suggests they are excellent night vision. It seems paradoxical to cover them with semi-opaque film. Perhaps these are only need to wear it in bright environments. Okay. So
they're like sunglasses.
Yeah. They're like sunglasses, contact lenses. So that's the kind of advanced technology we're dealing with.
Why would they need big eyes? Like, if they can't see, or if they want to have excellent night vision, like, let's say owls and stuff have evolved like that. But why do they need big eyes? So
think about it this way. Well, one, I would say these things haven't evolved. Sounds like they were created.
Oh yeah, but I mean the owl. I was just saying the owl has evolved that way. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it like, why were they given big eyes?
So think about it this way, because my first thought when I was piecing this together in my head is, imagine they're creating this thing to do a task.
Mm.
You know, they're creating it to do a task, and imagine, do you ever buy a car? Right.
Yeah.
And
I'm with you.
You can see in the dashboard spaces for buttons that that don't have anything in them. Do you want to know?
Yeah, because you didn't get the extras.
Yeah, you didn't get the extras. So what this is, they've made a one-size-fits-all alien, and in scenarios where it needs to see in the dark, well, you just take out the contacts.
Okay, so you are saying it's wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, and then in other scenarios, so like it's like they put on these things because there's other planets that they're using these on where it's really dark all the time.
Yeah, but these are human-like though, so I assume they're just made for our planet.
You don't know that.
I don't know that, but you don't know it either.
Yeah,
but I think that would be a good guess that they wouldn't. Okay. I think did they go into later on, not to jump the gun, but did they go into the color of them?
What do you mean?
Does he talk about the color? Like the grey color can't just be like that there has to be a reason for it to be grey.
No, they're just grey.
Yeah, I just find that weird that he just accepts that like he's talking about, oh, it's this suit and it's that suit, but why is it grey? There has to be a reason it's grey. Like, why not make it the same color as, I don't know, why not make it black or something? Why not make it blue? Why not make it the same color as skin so they can wear clothes? Like, I don't know.
But if you're making it any of those colors, I think that they're just as logical as it being grey.
Well, there's reasons, like, I mean, in nature and stuff, like if you're in a jungle or whatever, like there's going to be, let's say, there's going to be like blue frogs in a jungle that'll stand out to say, I'm poisonous, stay away from me.
But this is just like a Friday. They're like, what colour are we going to make it? I don't know, grey. Okay, we'll leave it grey for now. Alright, see you after lunch. Oh shit, oh fuck, we never changed it from grey. It's just like, this is just office politics stuff, I reckon.
Yeah, so you're saying it just kind of slipped through the cracks without anyone noticing?
I think they it's not like they ever got a graphic designer to have a look over this alien or anything.
No, you do see how that spells trouble for everything else you're about to talk about.
No, how?
Well, I mean, if they're that lazy about it, all these explanations could just be down to them being lazy.
No. So, the ears are normal, okay?
Oh, I was waiting for ears.
No, ears are pretty much normal, okay? They probably have slightly better lower frequencies.
You shut the fuck up.
They do.
Probably have better lower frequencies.
Yeah, but generally the ears are fairly normal, okay? So if you're chatting to them, they should be able to hear you, okay?
Alright, one second now. Can't eat hot dogs and normal ears.
The brain, right? You can tell now that I've mistimed this, so we're gonna have to race through some of these things. The brain is headline for the brain. It's 20% bigger than human brain.
All right, 20% bigger and 20% more powerful. We
don't know the second one.
Okay,
but I'd take it as read. I'm gonna sneeze. No, I'm not. The neck. There are no vocal cords in the neck. Okay, so it seems like it can't speak, but it's proportionately longer than a human neck to the body size. But it's not nothing too interesting there. The thorax,
what do you mean nothing too interesting? It can't speak. For fuck's sake. That's run of the mill stuff. No vocal cords, can't speak. Anyway, come on, get yourself together, man.
That's run of the mill.
Run of the mill, normal stuff. Can't speak or communicate.
Yeah.
No, we've no idea how it's communicating. Ignore that.
The abdomen is wider than the thorax and bulges slightly. There is no navel. That's important.
Okay, no navel.
It's not birthed, I guess.
Oh yeah, yes, makes sense.
So the pelvis bones are apparent, and there are no genitals or anus.
That's a pity.
Yeah, that's a real shame.
There's gonna be a lot of disappointed listeners out there.
Yeah, so hands and feet, our last hope. Hands and feet. The hands have 4 digits, including an opposable thumb of the median side.
They're like cartoons.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. They have no nails, and the texture of their fingerprints is composed of concentric circles. The fingers are proportionately much longer than humans. Unlike humans, the finger musculature is entirely intrinsic to the hands. In other words...
Wait. No, sorry, finish that, sorry.
In other words, the muscles used to move the fingers are not in the forearm, but entirely in the hands. That's quite interesting, I think.
That is really weird. What's the story with the fingerprints? Are they unique to each alien, or are they just...
No, I don't think so.
Okay, alright. Okay, and then... Why do you think they have the muscles in their hands to control the fingers?
I would say perhaps whatever their task is, they require that kind of dexterity just within their hands.
What do you think it is?
I think we'll get into that later. Okay. If we get to it. If we don't get to it, I'll be honest with you, we're caught on time.
We're caught out.
Yeah. So next one was about endoskeletons. All you need to know is that they have an abnormally large amount of copper oxide crystals in their marrow. or like where the marrow would be. That's all I need to know about that.
Okay.
The biological system. Can we get through that? Yeah, I'd say we can get through the biological system. So, respiratory system. Cellular respiratory system is equivalent to ours. So they need to oxidize organic components to produce energy. Their lungs have no reciprocating action, but rather have a unidirectional. I have no idea what that means. The vocalization is produced by the vibration of the wall membrane at the junction between the two air sacs.
So they talk kind of near their lungs or with their lungs by vibrating their lungs.
That's what it sounds like.
Cool. So it's kind of like I don't know, Mongolian throat singing or something.
Yeah, I think that's probably totally spot on. That's where it came from. So next one, circulatory system. Their heart is located in the mediastinum, but it's more medial position. Their heart's in the middle, basically.
Okay.
Blood, and it's pretty. It seems pretty normal. That all seems fairly normal. The blood itself is also analogous to that of a human. So, however, higher proportion of plasma. So, blood fairly normal. It sounds like.
Just to cut in there for 2 seconds. So I looked up copper oxide and what it's kind of used for and stuff, and it is actually quite interesting. But it's used in anti-fouling paints for boat and ship bottoms. But it's an effect. Basically, it's an effective control over corrosion.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think it's some sort of conductor as well. But
so the last two things we'll cover before we'll get into his questions are the digestive system, which is described as extremely underdeveloped. Right, there's no stomach in a familiar sense, but there's a pseudo stomach located as a transition between the thorax and the abdominal cavities. It seems to suggest that they couldn't that they can't digest solid foods because there's no there's no proper stomach.
There's no way to break it down.
Yeah, but it does suggest that the residues are dissolved in an ammonia of metabolic waste for excretion, so that they do excrete from their body externally. Given the absence of teeth and narrowness and rigidity of the esophagus, the absence of a true stomach and the absence of defecation, blah blah, it's strongly believed that the EBOs only consume liquid food in liquid form. It's assumed that given their high metabolic needs of their brains, that food would have a high carbohydrate concentration. In order to meet other metabolic needs, there must also be high protein content in the food consumed. These two statements suggest some type of enzyme secreted by the digestive organs, blah, 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 blah.
Are you telling me that we could just kill all these aliens by just like feeding them ham?
I don't think they'd take it off you.
Well, no, I mean like if we give it to them, like if we give them bread or something, like that they're like actually bread would probably be the one. If we give them bread, they can't digest it. It'll sit in their stomach. It'll go off and kill them from the inside.
Well, I just dropped my mic there. I certainly wouldn't rule it out. That's what I'd say. So the last two things, the immune system. It says that it has an innate immune system, but there doesn't seem to be any adaptive immunity. So
it's just what they have is what they have, is it? And
yeah.
It doesn't like it can't develop.
No, that's what it sounds like. So if they get an illness, I guess they're, it's not like our bodies where you might have some kind of immunity to it afterwards, and their nervous system.
So vaccines and stuff won't work on them.
Yeah, potentially not.
I'm just relieved because there just seems to be loads of ways to kill them.
Yeah, well, until you get to this, Dennis, this is probably the final, like, interesting part of the of their biology. Artificial system is what this is said. We speculate that artificial molecular machines may be present in the body, and that copper, if present, would be essential to their function or assembly. Importantly, no AMMs have been observed. So they've never observed these artificial molecular machines, but they hypothesize that they must be in there.
Are these like kind of like nanobots kind of things?
Yeah, that's what
Except
they speculate.
At a ridiculous molecular level.
Yes.
And that copper oxide inside in their marrow is used by those bot things to create themselves, is it?
Yep, that's what it sounds
That
like.
is the coolest fucking thing I've ever heard.
So that's probably why they don't need an immune system and stuff. Because they can just...
So that means if we give them bread, it won't kill them because the little bot things will go in and get rid of it.
They'll probably just cough it up.
Yeah.
We're both hitting our mics. So he finishes out the statement, or she finishes out the statement with 3 questions, in the form of 3 questions. And I think that these 3 questions, well, 2 of them anyway, are the most interesting part of it. So once we get through those, we'll give our closing thoughts and we'll be able to wrap it up with it. Question 1. Amazing story. Have you shared this with the Senate Select Commission on Intelligence or with AARO, and do you have evidence to back this up? Thank you. No, I haven't, and no, I won't. It sounds like a honey trap to me. I will not place my life in the hands of politicians. I have no proof other than this message. I know it's not much, but it's what I'm prepared to offer.
And so is this the committee that's going on at the moment about UFOs, UAPs over America?
Yeah. So he's saying he won't be giving stuff.
And he seems to believe that this is actually just a trap for people to reveal information like whistleblowers and then hush them up.
Yeah, which I think there's probably an episode in that at some stage in the future to like all of its own. That sounds very believable to me. In fact, actually, just on that topic, there are people who think for years they've been disclosing information to MUFON, and they're very dubious about the new bodies that are being set up for these sorts of Senate Select Commissions happening there.
Oh, like they potentially might be like CIA kind of funded things.
Exactly. Question 2. Well, that was a read. So this is why I think it's a man. It's a bit sarcastic here in the questions. Well, that was a read. So, they're bioengineered worker bees. Any elemental components that are unattributable to our biomes? Yes, knowing that they're disposable, unable to live independently without technological support, and that they're ephemeral. The only suitable hypothesis is that they are alive only to accomplish their task. Can you clarify your question about elemental components? So, the person doesn't do that.
Wait, so with these little nanobot things, can this potentially keep the being alive forever?
No. I think it's like without the mother base there.
Okay, so like if they suffer like unbelievable damage, let's say, to their brain, it won't be able to repair that.
Yes, yeah.
But if they get injured or like have a sickness, it might be able to repair that, or a broken leg or something.
That's what it sounds like to me.
But they're still in there, right? These little nanobot things.
Well, we've never observed them.
But like the theory is that they are in there. So that means that there is alien tech like inside these bodies, which sounds like it might be dangerous.
No, because I think this. What I'm getting from this is that we would have observed them if they were there. So perhaps they destruct.
Okay.
Upon death or something.
Once the task is completed.
Yeah. So question 3, and I think this is the most interesting part. Question 3. I haven't read everything in detail, but can you expand on the document on their religion? So, EBOs believe that their soul is not an extension of the individual, but rather a fundamental characteristic of nature that expresses itself as a field, not unlike gravity. In the presence of life, the field acquires complexity, resulting in a negative entropy, if that makes sense. This gain in complexity is directly correlated with the concentration of living organisms in a given location. With time and with the right conditions, life in turn becomes more complex until the appearance of sentient life. After reaching this threshold, the field begins to express itself through these sentient beings, forming what we call the soul. Through their life experiences, sentient beings will in turn influence the field in a sort of positive feedback loop. This in turn further accelerates the complexity of the field. Eventually, when the field reaches a critical mass, there will be some sort of apotheos. It's not clear what that means in practical terms, but the quest for apotheos seems to be the EBO's main motivation.
So, where does he find this out from? That sounds like they've talked to them, no?
Well, the author of the document added his reflections and this is the document on the religion, and his reflections on interpretations as an appendix. He specified that for them, the soul field is not a belief, but an obvious truth. He also argues that the soul loses its individuality after death, but that memory and experience persist as part of the field. That fact would influence... that sounds like ghosts to me. That fact would influence the philosophy and culture of EBOs, resulting in a society that doesn't fear death, but which places no importance or reverence on individuality. This belief compels them to seed life, shape it, nurture it, monitor it, and influence it for the ultimate purpose of creating this apotheosis. Paradoxically, they have little or no respect for individuals' well-beings.
Interesting. I just don't understand where they get the religion aspect from, though. I mean, like, I assumed that all of these guys arrived dead. Because, you know, he said that they've all suffered some sort of trauma, right? So they're dead. So where do they talk to the alien?
Well, it seems to suggest to me, Denis, that we've been chatting to one of these guys.
We're chatting to one of them. We're DMing one of the aliens. Like,
I think it's the guy who sucked off that guy in Brazil.
Oh my God! Why did we have to end the episode on that?
What do you think of that, Denis?
Okay, I think we've established from this that the grey aliens that we've thought about with no lips, flat noses, are in a fort over in America, and they're doing studies on them. I think that it is really interesting that this guy says all this stuff straight away, like as in, you know, or not straight away. That's what I meant to say is that he was allowed to work on this straight away.
Yeah,
I thought that was really peculiar. I really, really enjoyed all of it, and think it's some really cool theories, especially about the skin being kind of a wetsuit and things like that. But I don't like the religion thing at the end. I feel like that's probably like, you see, right, the thing is with this, right, is he could be telling the truth on 80% of this and then inject religion into the end of it. I'm always a bit wary when religion comes into it. I don't know. I mean, I actually kind of, in a weird way, I actually kind of agree with the aliens' religion, right, to be honest. Like, as in, it sounds less like kind of a religion, and more like, well, actually, this is the exact same thing. But you know what I mean? It's not like an organized religion, is what I'm trying to say.
It sounds less like a religion and more of like some kind of belief system through which that they're... No,
but you know, it's not an organized religion, though. But
yeah.
Like, I just don't understand why he brings the religion thing in there.
For me, the religion thing is, I could take or leave a lot of the other stuff. The religion is the real thing that interests me. That's the real, like, you know, that's the real new information for me.
Well, yeah, but you're assuming that you'd confirmed all the other information before.
Well, yeah.
You didn't know that they didn't talk out of their necks, like they have vocal cords in there.
Cords. No, but I kind of, like I said, that's why it wasn't very important to me.
You didn't know about the wetsuits, or that they like pissed out their arms.
No, I didn't. But all that stuff is like, that's just, you know, nuts and bolts.
Yeah, yeah, you know what.
Yeah, that's just like, that's just stuff. Lock one in a room and you'd figure that out. You know?
I'd hate to see your experiment.
But you know, it's this religion stuff. It's like it kind of gives you at least some way towards answering what the fuck are they doing here.
Yeah, true. All right, I think it does it this week for this week's very alien episode. I've been Denis Len. You can find me Denis Len 3D on Instagram and all the rest of the places. And over there is
Roger O'Sullivan. You can find me at Roger O'Comedy on Instagram or at Roger O'Sullivan on Twitter.
We've nearly reached 100 5-stars on Spotify, and I would like to see that go to 100 stars, please. Thank you very much. I don't have anything else to say, do you?
No, I guess on the back of that, all we'll say is love you, bye.